Well, good morning, and welcome to the Daniel Sauls Show, where you will witness sports talk and debate from yours truly, Daniel Sauls. Well, there's nothing else left for me to say, so let's get started! Will the Broncos make the playoffs? I think they just might. They definitely could. They have a really good head coach in Sean Payton. He was the head coach of the New Orleans Saints for a very long time. Got them a Super Bowl ring with Drew Brees, the one and only Drew Brees. But I feel like, with Sean Payton as their new head coach, I feel like this season he just needed to take some time, grow with his team, get some chemistry going on. Him and Russell Wilson, they got to get on the same page. Got to have a good combo to be able to do something great in the NFL. Got to have a good duo. And I feel like I don't feel like they will have a good bond, but I think they can get it done and get to the playoffs. Definitely not the Super Bowl. Not the Super Bowl, but the playoffs. They could definitely get to the playoffs. But they can't lose more than 2 games. If they lose 3, then they're in jeopardy of being in the hunt, and they might get taken off and eliminated before. But they can't lose more than 2 games. Not more than 2. They're on a 4-game winning streak, actually, and they beat the Packers, the Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, and the Vikings. 2 of those big wins were against the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills, which are 2 of the top 7 teams in the league right now. So they beat 2 top 7 teams in the league. They beat a really good team in the Vikings and an okay team in the Packers. Those are 2 okay teams. I feel like they're decent. Especially with all the hype behind Joshua Dobbs, I feel like the Vikings were on an uphill trajectory, and they ended up beating them when it comes down to it, and they did what they had to do. But another thing, before that 4-game streak, they were 1-5. 2 of those losses were 1-score game. 1-score game. So 2 of those losses came down to just 1 score. Really? Just 1 score. Against Vegas, it was 17-16. All they had to do was just kick a field goal, they won the game. If they would have just kicked a field goal, they could have won. Right? They were 1 point down. And against Washington, it was 35-33. So they could have just kicked the field goal again. Just 1 field goal for each of those games could have had them a win. If they just performed better, if they executed better. And it all comes down to your quarterback. And Wilson, over those first 6 games, had a completion percentage of 65.8. Now his completion percentage over the last 4 games is 73. It went up by almost 10 points. Almost 10% more. Really? He threw 7 touchdowns in the past 4 games, which is pretty good. Pretty good for Russell Wilson right now. I mean, Russell Wilson was getting clowned upon. He might have been the worst quarterback in the NFL for all we knew. I mean, he was pretty bad. He threw 4 interceptions in the first 6 games, now throwing 0 interceptions in these 4 games that they've won. 0 interceptions. Do you know how accurate, do you know how precise that is? He threw 0 picks in these last 4 games. That is really good. He's stepping up. He's doing what he has to do. We all knew what Russell Wilson was in Seattle. They were a powerhouse team. He was the leader of that team. And yes, a lot of people don't like him, but you got to understand this dude had some talent. He was at one point unstoppable. He has to unlock that and get back to his senses and do what he's meant to do. He has to do it. He can do it. He can. 0 interceptions is really good. You don't like it when your quarterback throws picks at all. He went from 4-6 games to 0-4 games. That's really good. Now, although he's gotten sacked 32 times this season, 13 in the past 4 games. So in the past 4 games, he got sacked 13 times. You got to understand, his pass protection isn't that great. Just like I said about Shedeur Sanders, The pass protection is not great. But I feel like him throwing 0 interceptions and going up almost 10% in completion percentage shows a lot for a guy that was always getting clowned upon since he joined the Broncos. They said that he was calling audibles from the Seattle Seahawks, and the linemen didn't know what the hell they were doing. You know, they weren't on the same page. You know, and Russell Wilson, they said he was losing his mind and everything. They said he didn't care about football as much. Well, now you're looking at the numbers. He's going on an uphill trajectory right now, and that's really good. I feel like the Broncos have a shot if their leader is Russell Wilson, and if Russell Wilson plays well. You know, I mean, you got to be able to do that. Russell Wilson's passing attempts per game dropped from 31 to 28 a game, which means Sean Payton's realizing that they need to have a dual threat. They need to be able to throw the football and run the football at the same time. So they're running the football a little bit more than what they did before. I think he realizes that in order to trick the defenses, you have to do both things. You can't just be a pass-heavy offense or just a run-heavy offense. You have to do a lot of everything. This isn't like high school or college where you could be really good at one thing and the defense can't stop you. No, everybody in the NFL is at the highest level, and you can't just assume that just one thing is going to work every single time. It's not going to work every single time. It just won't. Defenses catch up to that quick. Defenses realize what you're going to do quick. Like, they study this stuff. This is their life. You got to understand that. So when Sean Payton's realizing that they're not throwing the football as well, now he's going to put in the running game to it. Bring that aspect into it. And you know what? Not only are they running the football more, but they're passing the football better by just dropping down the attempts per game, and now the defenses are tricked. And now he went from 4 interceptions in 6 games to 0 interceptions in the past 4 games. They're on a 4-game winning streak. His percentage for completion went almost 10% higher. You got to understand all those things. And his QBR over the first 6 games was 42.9, which is terrible. That is horrific. And now it went up to 58.9 since the past 4 games. It went up tons. His numbers are getting higher because he's being better. He's playing overall better. Russell Wilson can do this. He can unlock this talent, this skill. He's got to be able to do it somehow. You know, he's under a good coaching staff, under a really good head coach in Sean Payton. He knows what he's doing. He realizes what he's doing. If you let Sean Payton do his thing, they will do a lot of great things moving forward. And like I said before, Russell Wilson is an all-around amazing quarterback. And his numbers were not good. And it was looking like he was on a downhill trajectory for his career. And now he's proving everyone wrong by having numbers going from literally at the bottom to all the way at the top. He's reaching to the sky. All his numbers are going higher than what they were. It is skyrocketing. This is a great thing. He has tons of success. I believe that the Broncos will make the playoffs if they continue this streak and if they continue doing well. I don't think they have a hard schedule moving forward. I think it's pretty, doable. I think they can definitely get to the playoffs if they just continue this, and if Russell Wilson can continue to play at a high level and continue putting up numbers like these. I'm Daniel Sauls, the host of the Daniel Sauls Show, and I'll be back with another video for y'all guys very soon on my channel. Make sure to go like, subscribe, turn post notifications on. As always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this video. And I'll be back very soon. Peace out, y'all.